Right. So today we're going to do a deep dive into this whole Rudy Giuliani situation.
Yeah.
It seems like it never ends.
Never ends.
But specifically today, we're looking at this defamation case that he's embroiled in, involving those Georgia election workers, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss.
Right.
And everybody remembers that huge $148 million judgment against him.
Yeah.
For making these false statements that ended up damaging their reputations.
Totally.
And so today we're really focusing in on a recent court hearing. And kind of what that tells us about this this ongoing legal battle.
Yeah.
And the source material for our deep dive today is a YouTube transcript from the Ring of Fire.
Right.
Which, they offer their own perspective.
Of course.
On these events.
They do.
But I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really interesting one.
To kind of see what they had to say.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess to jump right into it.
Okay.
It's fascinating to me that even after being hit with such a massive judgment,
right,
Giuliani still ended up back in court before Judge Howell.
Yeah, he was found in contempt of court again.
Wow.
And this time it was for continuing to defame Freeman and Moss.
So he didn't stop.
He did not stop, even after this massive penalty.
Wow. So what did Judge Howell do about it?
Well, Judge Howell issued a court order requiring Giuliani to sign this document.
Okay.
And the document would state that his previous claims about Freeman and Moss were false.
Wow.
That they did nothing wrong and that the election in Georgia was not rigged.
So basically a mandatory admission.
Right. A mandatory admission of falsehood.
That's wild.
It is.
What happens if he doesn't sign it?
Well, initially a fine of $200 per day.
$200 a day?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I obviously intended to kind of coerce him into compliance.
Okay.
But Judge Howell also warned about potential jail time.
Jail time?
If the fines escalate and Giuliani continues to refuse to follow the order.
Wow. So they're not messing around.
No, they are not.
They're really serious about this.
Very serious.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what was Giuliani's legal team's reasoning for all this? Like, why wouldn't he just sign it?
Their argument was that Giuliani genuinely believes his previous statements to be true.
Okay.
And that he needs to maintain this position in order to pursue his appeal of the original verdict.
Okay.
And they also contended that signing this document would completely undermine the basis of his appeal.
So he's saying that to maintain his appeal, he needs to keep saying things.
But the court has already ruled her false.
But the court has already ruled her false.
Exactly.
That is so wild. How does it even work legally?
Well, that's what Judge Howell was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Because the judge expressed disbelief that the defamation might never stop.
Wow.
If Giuliani maintains this stance.
Yeah.
And the transcript notes that the judge also referenced Giuliani's history of not meeting financial obligations.
Oh, yeah.
Suggesting a concern that fines alone might not be effective.
Yeah, he's not exactly known for paying up.
Not really, no.
When he's supposed to.
Not really, no.
So Ring of Fire actually had a very pointed interpretation of the lawyer's argument, basically suggesting that they're saying that Giuliani must continue lying to keep his appeal alive.
Wow.
The implication being that the appeal itself relies on these already debunked claims.
Yeah, that's the interpretation from the source.
Wow.
It really highlights this difficult position Giuliani's in.
Yeah.
Because admitting the statements were false could legally weaken his appeal. But refusing to follow the court order is going to bring all these increasingly severe consequences.
Right. Yeah. He's between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly.
And Ring of Fire really seems to emphasize
Yeah.
Judge Howell's shock at this whole thing.
Yeah.
And they even suggest that Giuliani might be getting
more leniency
than other people might.
And other people would in a similar situation.
Yeah. And they basically say that jail time might be the only way to stop the defamation.
That might be the only way to stop it. It really is wild.
So we're basically seeing this tension.
Right.
Where Giuliani's being ordered to admit he was wrong under threat of huge fines and potential jail time.
Right.
But his team is arguing that doing so would basically destroy his appeal of the original defamation ruling.
Yeah.
And it really makes you think.
It does.
About the balance between the right to appeal and the need to stop this ongoing harm from the defamation. What are the implications of a situation where someone can just keep appealing?
Right.
But they have to keep saying things that have already been proven false.
Yeah. It's a tough question.
To keep that appeal going, it's a fascinating legal area.
It really is fascinating.
I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm sure we'll be talking about it.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back.
For sure. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.